I've been married to my wife Cassandra for 5 years, and for 4 of those years, I've had this uncomfortable feeling about her parents. At first, I thought I was being paranoid. They were always polite to my face, hosting dinners, inviting us on family vacations, and showering us with expensive gifts. But something always felt off, like when they'd accidentally schedule important family events when I had work commitments I couldn't miss, or how they'd constantly remind Cassandra of her ex-boyfriend Jeremy, who had such a bright future in finance and comes from such a good family. The first undeniable red flag happened during our 3rd anniversary. We were planning a weekend getaway when suddenly her mother was hospitalized with chest pains. We canceled our trip to rush to her side. The doctors found nothing wrong, and miraculously, she felt better the moment we announced we weren't going on our trip. 2 months ago, things escalated. Cassandra got a job opportunity in another state, a dream position she'd been working toward for years. It meant relocating, but we were both excited for this new chapter. The night we told her parents over dinner, her father offered her a position at his company with double the salary if she stayed. When she hesitated, her mother started crying about how she'd never see her grandchildren if we moved away. We don't even have kids yet. The job discussion turned into a huge argument with her parents, bringing up every perceived flaw in our marriage. They mentioned how I couldn't provide the lifestyle their daughter deserved. Her father even said, "We always knew this marriage was a mistake." Cassandra was devastated but still determined to take the job. Then suddenly, the dream job offer was rescinded with no explanation. I found it suspicious, especially since her father had golf buddies who sat on the board of that company. Last week, I was using Cassandra's laptop when a Facebook message popped up from her mother. I know I shouldn't have looked, but the preview mentioned my name. What I saw made my blood run cold. Her mother had written, "Honey, I know you're upset about the job, but trust me, this is for the best. That position would have destroyed your marriage when you realized how much better you could do without him dragging you down. Your father and I only want what's best for you, and that's never been him. Remember how we helped with Jeremy's situation too? Sometimes parents have to step in. We've been patient for 5 years waiting for you to come to your senses." I felt sick reading it. There were years of messages like this, all undermining me, our marriage, and Cassandra's independence. They'd been actively working to break us up since day one. I closed the laptop and haven't said anything to Cassandra yet. Part of me wants to confront her with what I found, but another part worries this could be exactly what they want. To create a blow-up fight where I look like the bad guy for invading her privacy. She's been distant lately, making secret phone calls, and yesterday she mentioned having lunch with her parents to discuss something important. I couldn't sleep that night, just kept tossing and turning, wondering if my marriage was ending. I decided to take the day off work and clean the house to clear my head, maybe cook Cassandra's favorite dinner as a peace offering. While vacuuming under our bed, I found a folder tucked between the mattress and box spring. Inside were divorce papers, already filled out but not signed. I sat on the floor just staring at them, feeling like someone had punched me in the gut. I wanted to confront her immediately, but decided to wait until she came home. I spent the rest of the day in a daze, mechanically cleaning and cooking while rehearsing what to say. Cassandra came home late, looking tired and guilty. I had dinner waiting, but she said she'd already eaten with her parents. I couldn't hold it in anymore. "I found the divorce papers," I said, my voice surprisingly steady. She froze, her face going pale. "You weren't supposed to find those yet. Were you going to blindside me? Just serve me papers out of nowhere after 5 years together?" She looked genuinely confused. "What? No, that's not— Wait, where did you find them?" "Under our bed. Not a great hiding place." She shook her head. "I didn't put them there. I've never even seen divorce papers." Now it was my turn to be confused. "Then why are they filled out with our information?" "I don't know. Can I see them?" I showed her the folder and watched her face as she looked through the documents. Her confusion turned to anger, then to a kind of horrified realization. "These aren't in my handwriting," she said softly. "This is my mother's handwriting." I took the papers back and looked closer. She was right. The feminine, looping script was nothing like Cassandra's neat print. "Why would your mother fill out divorce papers for us?" She sat down heavily at our kitchen table. "Because I told them yesterday I'm not leaving you. I told them I'm done letting them control my life, and if they can't respect my marriage, then I'm cutting them off." I sat across from her, processing this. "So the lunch today was them making one last attempt to convince me you're ruining my life. They brought up Jeremy again, said he's single now and interested in reconnecting. They even had a check ready as a new start fund if I left you." She reached for my hand. "I told them to go to hell." Relief flooded through me, then confusion. "But you've been so distant lately. The secret phone calls." She looked ashamed. "I was talking to a therapist. And to Jeremy, actually." My heart sank. "You were? Not like that. I called him to find out what happened between us back then. He admitted my parents paid him to break up with me in college because they thought he was distracting me from my studies. They've been controlling my relationships my whole life." I thought about the Facebook messages. "Your mother mentioned helping with Jeremy's situation in a message I saw." Cassandra's eyes widened. "What message?" I admitted to seeing the Facebook notification. Instead of being angry, she asked me to show her. We went to her laptop and found the message thread with her mother. She read through years of manipulation and lies, her hands shaking with anger. "They've been doing this behind my back our entire marriage," she whispered. "Every time we had a problem, every job opportunity that mysteriously fell through, every argument that seemed to come out of nowhere." She scrolled further back and gasped. "Look at this one from right before our wedding." The message read, "We've spoken with Pastor Jim. He's ready to raise objections during the ceremony as we discussed. Your father will pretend to have a medical emergency as backup. One way or another, we're stopping this wedding. You'll thank us later, sweetheart." I remembered our wedding day, how the power mysteriously went out at the church, delaying everything, and how her father had taken an ambulance to the hospital with heart problems that later turned out to be indigestion. The pastor who was supposed to marry us had a family emergency and was replaced at the last minute. "They tried to stop our wedding," I said in disbelief, "and they've been trying to end our marriage ever since." Cassandra closed the laptop. "I'm done with them. Completely done." That night, we stayed up talking, piecing together 5 years of sabotage, how they'd schedule mandatory family events when we had plans, how they'd show up unannounced when we were fighting to check on their daughter, how they'd purposely bring up topics that triggered arguments between us. "What about the dream job?" I asked. "Did they really get it canceled?" She nodded. "My father admitted it today. He called in a favor to have the offer rescinded. That's what pushed me over the edge with them." The next morning, we found the divorce papers Cassandra's mother had planted were missing. In their place on our doorstep was a letter. It was from Cassandra's father, a desperate plea justifying their actions. "We only wanted to protect you from making the same mistakes your mother and I made. We settled for each other and have regretted it ever since. We stay together for appearances, but we've been unhappy for decades." Cassandra crumpled the letter. "They're projecting their failed marriage onto us. We decided to move forward with the out-of-state job opportunity." Cassandra reached out to the company, explained the situation, and they were surprisingly understanding. The position was still open, and they were willing to interview her again, but her parents weren't done yet. The day before her interview, someone smashed her car windows. Nothing was stolen, just vandalized enough to prevent her from driving to the interview. When the police came, they found a note that said, "Reconsider your choices," tucked under the windshield wiper. We couldn't prove it was her parents, but we knew. We rented a car, and Cassandra made it to her interview. She got the job. The night before we were set to move, her parents showed up at our door. Cassandra's mother was crying, her father looking grim. "You can't leave," her mother said. "Everything we've done has been for your own good." Cassandra stood tall. "I'm 30 years old. I get to decide what's good for me." "He'll never make you happy," her father insisted. "We've seen how he treats you." "You mean with respect and support? Unlike the two of you?" Her mother's tears dried instantly, her face hardening. "We've invested too much in you to watch you throw your life away on him." "Invested?" Cassandra laughed. "Is that what you call sabotaging every major decision I've made since I was 18? "We paid for your education," her father said coldly. "Your first car, the down payment on this house." I stepped forward, "which we've been paying the mortgage on for 5 years. "We can take it all away," her mother hissed. "Everything we've given you." Cassandra didn't flinch. "Take it. I'd rather have nothing with him than everything with strings attached." Her father pulled out his phone. "One call and that job offer disappears, just like the last one." That's when I revealed I'd been recording the entire conversation. "Make that call," I said. "And this recording goes to the police, the media, and the company's board of directors. I'm sure they'd love to hear about your interference with their hiring practices." They left in a rage, threatening lawsuits and worse. We didn't care. The next morning, we loaded our belongings into a moving truck and drove away from the town they'd tried to trap us in. It's been 6 months in our new city. Cassandra loves her job, and I've found better opportunities here too. We're happier than we've ever been, free from the constant manipulation. Her parents still try to contact her occasionally. Emotional voicemails, extravagant gifts sent to our new address, even a few flying monkeys in the form of relatives calling to tell her she's breaking her mother's heart. She doesn't respond to any of it. Yesterday, Cassandra came home with news that made everything worth it. "I'm pregnant," she said, glowing with happiness, "and my parents will never meet our child." Some people might think that's harsh, cutting off grandparents from their grandchild. But after discovering the lengths they went to trying to destroy our marriage, planting divorce papers, canceling job opportunities, turning families against each other, we know we're making the right choice. They had their chance to be good parents to Cassandra. They failed. We won't give them the opportunity to do the same to our child. Sometimes I think about what might have happened if I hadn't found that Facebook message, if I hadn't discovered the divorce papers. We might have been manipulated right into separation, never knowing the real culprits behind our problems. But now we know, and knowledge is power. The power to recognize manipulation, to set boundaries, and to protect the family we're building from those who would try to tear it apart. If you're reading this and something feels off about your in-laws, trust your gut. Look for patterns. not isolated incidents. And remember that marriage is between two people, not two people and their parents. I realized my in-laws were deliberately sabotaging my marriage 5 years too late, but it's never too late to take back control. We did, and we've never been happier.